OPP Fahudie and blessings to the ancestors. It's D1 here with a new video, here to discuss the so-called liberator Abraham Lincoln and his emancipation of the Negro during the Civil War, and to reveal his true intentions of his savvy political maneuvers, which resulted partly in the holiday we celebrate today as Juneteenth. Before we get started with today's video, I would like you all to subscribe to the original People's Party's mailing list as part of our efforts to build a core support base for our Pan-African development work as we continue to grow. The link is in the description and in the pinned comments to join. In addition, if you're a fan of boom bap beats, feel free to stream my music, available on all major streaming platforms, and add your favorites to your favorite playlist as well. Thank you, and let's get started with today's video. To start, let's state for the record that Abraham Lincoln was a racist and not an ally of enslaved African Americans, as history classes teaches us in our youth. Like many of his time period, Lincoln believed in the superiority of the white race and the necessity for its preservation to dominate black people and to instill racial separations to ensure this reality. The first example of which to support my argument is Lincoln's support for the American Colonial Society, an organization founded by white elites to solve the ongoing unwanted Negro population and the slavery issue by advocating for the immigration and return of enslaved Negroes back to the motherland. The next example of Lincoln's views of the Negroes is in his 1858 debate with Stephen Douglas. Lincoln clarifies his position by clearly stating, "I am not nor ever have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. That I am not nor ever have been in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor qualifying them to hold office, nor intermarry with white people." And I will say, in addition to this, there's a physical difference between the white and black race, which I believe will forever forbid the two races from living together on terms of social and political equality. While they do remain together, there must be a position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. This context provides insight into Lincoln's actions during the Civil War, which was caused due in part over the issue of slavery's expansion in newly free states. In the early stages of the war, Lincoln stated his ambivalence to the plight of black people in a response to a newspaper editorial explaining, "If I could save the Union without freeing a slave, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I can do it freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that." Afterwards, as the tides of the Civil War changed against the Union's cause, Lincoln pivoted strategically. Lincoln announced the Emancipation Proclamation to thus free enslaved blacks and offered enlistment to those who joined the Union, which bolstered the Army's manpower. The legacy of this proclamation has falsely given historical credit to Lincoln being an advocate of enslaved African Americans, and its consequences will be seen over the next century after the events of the Civil War. An example of the legacy of this type of thinking is seen most prominently in the Civil Rights Movement, where its leaders such as Dr. King and others who frequently invoked Lincoln's name and his abolition of slavery as part of the overall integrationist pursuits. An example of which is exemplified by Dr. King quoting Lincoln in 1962, stating, "In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free, honorable alike, and what we give and what we preserve." On his moral foundation, he personally prepared the first draft of the Emancipation Proclamation, and to emphasize the decisiveness of this course of action, he called his cabinet together and declared he was not seeking their advice as to its wisdom, but only suggestions on the matter. Lincoln achieved immortality because he issued the Emancipation Proclamation. His hesitation had not stayed his hand when historical necessity charted but one course. No president can be great or even fit for office if he attempts to accommodate to injustice to maintain his political balance. In conclusion, hopefully this video informs you of the true intentions of Abraham Lincoln's liberation efforts, and hopefully you know better not to evoke him or the Constitution as an argument when we know as a people we are largely outcast to a system that was built off our backs. As we conclude today's video, don't forget to subscribe to OPP's mailing list to support our development work. And also, if you're a fan of boom bap beats, feel free to support my music and production by streaming and adding your favorite tracks and beats to your favorite playlist. Until next time, OPP Fahudie and blessings to the ancestors.